Should gun control laws be stronger? I watched a pretty interesting video about gun control laws, and it literally criticized them for presidents thinking that there is only one solution towards gun control law: a background check. And yes, background checks do exist, and they usually are able to go ahead and prevent all these gun violences, but the problem is no one's updating the background, usually, or most of the time. As a result, criminals who still have a bad record can still go ahead and get guns. Mainly because the police are too lazy to update that person's criminal background, at least onto the public gun registration place. But right now, this is all we can do. Should gun control laws be stronger? Let's think about it. Alright, firstly, we're going to have to think about gun controls. Gun control is the act of having a gun registered or known towards who knows it in the United States of America. In other countries, it is illegal to get a gun unless you have a special permit. But in the United States of America, it is literally a constitutional right. Yes, it is in the Bill of Rights. Literally, it says, the right to bear arms. Or in other words, guns, mainly because the United States founding fathers wanted to go ahead and make sure that the Americans will be able to go ahead and create a militia whenever they needed to. They probably didn't think that this would ever happen. But then again, they were only dealt with 13 states. They probably never imagined that this would become 50 or maybe 51. As a result, we have this debate, and to this day, it is still unresolved. Yes, stricter gun control has been created after every mass shooting, but no one's updating the background. Let's start off with the first point of the pros team. Now, these guys say that other countries such as Europe or Asia, yes, especially Asia, or even Australia, they have stricter gun control laws. They have stronger laws. As a result, they have less gun violence. Oh, sure, they still have gun violence, especially Europe, but they have less gun violence. And Asians and Australians, well, they went ahead and they have their own culture, which goes ahead and teaches them things. The criminals are the ones that are westernized. As a result, I'm pretty sure this is why Asians really hate westerns in the older days. And now for the first point of the cons team. Here we have the right to own a gun in the United States Constitution. Now, the right to own a gun is in the United States Constitution, and as a result, no way, even if you're a criminal, you should get a gun. It's your right. Even if you are a bad guy, you will now become a good guy as soon as you step out of jail or escape from jail, apparently. Unless you still have the police chasing after you, you probably should not even have a gun. You probably should have a gun, unless you have the police chasing after you and being on the FBI wanted list for some reason. If it's a very, very unknown and very unjustifiable reason, well then you went ahead and made yourself a little bit of a... Well, you can just go ahead and sue the FBI, I guess. But I'm pretty sure that never worked out in history. And now for the second point of the pros team is that many people, including children, literally die every year because of accidents with these unlocked and loaded guns. Because of all these unlocked and loaded guns, we go ahead and have all these accidents. In fact, most of the reason why these accidents happen is because those people who are wielding these guns have no idea how to use them. A person who is in control of a gun but doesn't know how to use that gun is even more dangerous than someone who knows how to do that gun but has malicious intent. Because, well, a person who doesn't know how to use a gun is more likely to kill someone that they don't know, they're more likely to kill their family member than someone that they don't know and criminal intents. Of course, they can still go to jail for that. And now for the second point, which is kind of the wildest but makes a lot of sense point in my opinion. This one goes on and tells us that keeping a gun unlocked and loaded might literally help someone stop a criminal more quickly. And this has happened before. But police themselves have abused this right too. And now for the third point of the pros team, and that stronger gun control laws might stop the rising number of mass shootings in the United States of America. Which country is the most famous for mass shootings? United States of America. Which country is most famous for having the most criminals? United States of America. Which country is the most famous for having the most billionaires who literally do not want to control United States of America? Which country literally is famous for having the most mass shootings in the entire world? United States of America. Yep, that's correct. And the third point, it's quite wild in my opinion, this third point of the cons team. They go ahead and say that a good guy with a gun can go ahead and stop a bad guy with a gun. So it's basically a gun stops a gun. Wonder who's going to stop who first. If the bad guy stops the good guy with a gun, well... yeah. But if the good guy somehow stops the bad guy with the gun, well then... you're doomed. Especially if you're the criminal. But if you are being shot at, you have every good reason to shoot the person that you are being shot at. And now for the fourth point of the pros team is that a stronger gun control law could literally stop criminals from getting all these guns. That's what that's what the European Union did, and that's what like several countries in Asia did. Also, a little funny thing, in Korea, almost every man knows how to shoot a gun, but they're not allowed to know how to own a gun unless they have proper licensing. And that knowledge is kind of wasted. And finally, for our fourth point of the cons team is that criminals don't care about the law. So passing stricter laws will only take away, put a bunch of red tape on getting guns. And well, all these criminals really do not care about the law. As a result, they'll try to get around the red tape. And yeah, that has happened before. And these guns are taken away by the citizens. Somehow, these criminals get their hands on machine guns, apparently, without the police knowing. I'm not sure how they did it, but they did it after all. But that is all I'm going to say. Should gun control laws be stronger? Well, obviously, yes, especially in the United States of America. They are the pinnacle of achievement. At least their reputation is the pinnacle of achievement. It's supposed to be. But in the end, there's not much else that we can do. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you guys soon. And, well, until next time, ciao, out, peace, bye-bye. You've probably noticed this. This is a flintlock. This is an AK-47. This is the word. Then 1 round per minute. And now AK-47, 100 rounds per minute. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.